This is Nick from DFS Bros. We would like to thank you for clicking on our first video. Make sure you leave a like and a subscribe. I hope you enjoy our top 10. 11 through 20 will be here sometime soon. Thank you. So to start off, we're going to talk about our top 20 quarterbacks. Numbers 1, 2, and 3, Kirk and I match on. First, we have Lamar Jackson. Number 2, we have Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, we have Dak Prescott. Kirk, would you like to elaborate any bit on why you have them in that order?
They're pretty self-explanatory. Lamar is just so flashy and explosive. Him and Pat Mahomes are 1A, 1B. You can't argue it.
Right.
After that, the tier breaks off. And
those are our top 3. We will stick with those 3. Lamar Jackson and Pat Mahomes are both going in the second round. Like you said, 1A, 1B. Sometimes one will go first, one will go second. Kirk, with those two going in second round, how late would they have to fall for you to snag one?
So running back right now is very important,
right?
Like it is every year.
Right.
I'm a firm believer 3 of your first 4 picks should be running back.
I agree.
And then you can just piece together wide receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends, etc. But this year is a little unique after doing a lot of research. When the schedules come out, first things I always do is what defenses do I want and what quarterbacks do I want. 2 things people really don't care about anymore, but it's helped me out. The thing I noticed was that not only are Lamar and Mahomes elite options at quarterback, they have, to me, the number 1 playoff schedule and the number 2 playoff schedule. So not only will them being a top 3 quarterback help me into the playoffs, it'll pretty much seal up that I'm going to outscore my opponent in one major category. And I have a guy that threatens 30 every time he's on the field. So when you try to piece together your Roethlisberger and your Matt Ryan or your Joe Burrow and get possible 18, but they have a bad game and score 13, Lamar might drop 28.
Right.
And you're already a RB1 behind me. So if they're in the 3rd round, I think it's impossible for me, myself, to pass on them when I know that they're going to do that for me in the playoffs.
So with the 2nd round ADP, you would take them in the 3rd round if they fell that far?
Yeah. But I have no preference. I'm just grabbing whichever one is there. Pretty much wait for one to get picked, and then I grab the other.
Yeah, just flip a coin and then grab whichever one. With Dak Prescott, to me, I know we talked a little bit about this before we recorded. I know I have Dak Prescott in my 2nd tier, but I think he's kind of alone in his own 2nd tier because Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, they're going to perform. They're matchup proof. They're going to destroy. Dak Prescott, he got a new weapon. Jason Witten is gone. Blake Jarwin's supposed to fill that hole for the 4th year in a row, 3rd year in a row, whatever it is. But Dak Prescott can produce with fantasy. After that, we disagree on our 4 and 5. Our 4 and 5s are the same, but we just have them flip-flopped. For me, I have Russell Wilson at 4. You have Kyler Murray at 4. I have Kyler Murray at 5. You have Russell Wilson at 5. So before I get into my explanation on why I have mine that way, Kirk, I'll let you talk to me about why you have it for those 2 at 4 and 5. See if you can change my mind.
So with Kyler Murray having 1 year under his belt, finished as I think 5th or 6th quarterback last year. So a year longer in the league, he's going to grow. Everybody has that sophomore growth. Some people say sophomore slump, but I think he's going to have a feel for the game.
Right. It's a little different for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Especially in years.
Yeah, because they actually get to understand how fast-paced the game is compared to their college atmosphere they were used to.
Right.
And for Kyler, I think he's going to adapt well. Everyone knows the addition with Hopkins is just incredible. They're not going to have to worry about trying to push the ball as much with David Johnson because he's not there. last year I felt like sometimes at the beginning of the year they thought they had to get their money's worth out of him.
Right.
Now they have Drake. Drake's a better option in this offense. He fit perfect. So there'll be more scoring. One thing about Arizona is they kicked a ton of field goals. They could not score.
Mm-hmm.
So they were one of the worst offenses in the red zone. So if they can just become a mediocre, if not Hopkins' addition makes them an elite, then you're looking at a guy who we could have in there with the Mahomes and Lamar next year.
I can see that.
And it doesn't seem outrageous. I mean, he's going to get you the rush yards.
Mm-hmm.
He has the elite option. And in that offense, they throw the ball so much. And they can score that much. The things that I'm worried about, though, is that, which same thing with Seattle and Russell Wilson, that conference is hard.
Yeah, it
is. You're playing against the 49ers twice.
Right.
You're playing against Seattle twice.
Right.
And you're playing against the Rams D.
Right. And Aaron Donald's a monster.
You sit there, I mean, when you have elite options like Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray, you're not sitting there like, oh, should I pick up a free agent this week and start him? Should I find the Ryan Fitzpatrick playing this week? No, you just start him.
Right.
It sucks starting against the 49ers, but they can still drop 20-something any given week.
Right, because of the rushing ability.
Yeah. And but because of the growth in the offense, the addition, and just having such an awful red zone last year, it's only up. And if you're telling me that he's locked in at 6 and he's only going to get better, and you add in Hopkins, I mean, I kind of want to say third, but Dak is just so safe if he gets his money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like Dak because they throw the ball so much. That offensive line is just great. Zeke, they're going to score so many points because Zeke's going to keep getting them first downs, and they have elite options at wide receiver.
Right.
Dak's, like you said, kind of in his own tier. But if you had to add one more, I'd say it would be Murray.
Okay.
About Wilson is that team loves to run the ball. Run. If you switched Wilson and Mahomes, I don't think it would be idiotic to say that Andy Reid could make him MVP.
No, I don't. I disagree with that one bit. I agree 100%.
Yeah. Russell Wilson has been one of the most talented quarterbacks and just efficient as can be. I mean, he knows how to win.
Right, yeah, he does. To me, it comes down to experience. Russell Wilson, been in the NFL since I think this is his 9th season, 2012. I think it was his rookie year, or 2011 or 2012. Wow, it feels just like yesterday he came into the NFL. It's been a while, but comes to experience. Kyler Murray still has not practiced much with DeAndre Hopkins. Doesn't know the playbook. Well, DeAndre Hopkins isn't in the playbook yet, as far as we are aware. Kyler Murray, their offensive line is not – they did do some to help it in the offseason, but not that much. To me, it can go either way. To me, Kyler Murray could end up at 4, but I think it's more realistic for Russell Wilson as he has more experience. So that's just what comes down to me is the experience factor of it. Number 6, I'm just going to say my reasonings on why Watson is 6.
He's from Clemson.
Oh, yeah. I'm a huge Clemson fan. But he's an elite talent quarterback. He's an amazing quarterback. But he lost his number 1 weapon, and they replaced it with Brandon Cooks. Will Fuller's never had a full healthy season. Kenny Stills, while he is good, he's been working out a lot with Deshaun Watson in the offseason. I follow them both on Instagram. I think it's going to come down to the offensive line. Like I said with Kyler Murray. Offensive lines and running quarterbacks, sometimes it works out, sometimes it does not. He gets sacked a lot. The offensive line, aside from Laramie Tunsil, allowed a lot of sacks on him last year. I think he will be able to produce. I just think it depends on Brandon Cooks staying healthy, and Will Fuller staying healthy. If those two stay healthy and Kenny Stills is consistent, they'll be fine. David Johnson will have to help in the passing game some. I think it just comes down to his receivers being healthy.
He's always just been great. He has that leadership mentality like Russell Wilson. He's a winner.
Yeah.
But his rushing upside, his rushing touchdowns are enough to get you there. But I just feel like he might end up having to have that do too much season where he's going to have to make errant throws because he doesn't have Hopkins where he can just throw up to 50-50 balls.
Right. Everything to Hopkins a 50-50 ball. It doesn't matter where it's a 50-50 ball for Hopkins.
Yeah, and Hopkins is notorious for just always coming down with it.
Right.
He's going to win those.
Yeah.
But when you throw those to Cooks,
right,
not so much. Cooks is still a 1,000-yard receiver. I think he'll still be a 1,000-yard receiver in this offense. He's going to be more of a go guy. Fuller is, I think, going to dominate as long as he's healthy. One thing about Fuller, me personally, I'm a huge trader. In all my leagues, I make tons of trades.
Yes.
In a year, I made, I think, 54 trades in a year?
Probably. I would not be surprised.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you're talking about a 16-week season, you're talking about like 3 go down in a week. Over 3. So, it's just when you sit there and think about it, Fuller's not going to stay healthy.
No.
Cooks has to adapt. Yeah. Cooks has to learn the offense. David Johnson's a shell of himself.
Right.
And Watson is the captain, and he's going to put it all on his back and is going to do as much as he can, but I think it's going to be too much, and he's going to make errant throws here, and you'll start to see it.
I think with Watson this year, I genuinely believe it's going to be a career high for rushing yards for him. I think passing yards –
he's going to do it all.
Right, like you said, do all season. It's going to – his passing yards and passing touchdowns might possibly be down because he literally has to put the team on his back and run.
Yeah, interceptions will be up.
Right. But who knows? They may surprise us. Everybody is different. So after Deshaun Watson, after done with our top 6, this next tier of quarterbacks, like I said to you before we started, this is a tier where the person at 7 could end at 11. The person at 11 could end at 7. We're going to talk about Josh Allen first. And Kirk, go ahead with what you think about Josh Allen this season.
What type of talent he is and what type of what Josh Allen does best. He runs.
Right.
So he's going to get all the rushing touchdowns on that team. Frank Gore's gone. Singletary's not the ground and pound guy.
Right.
And so I would not own Singletary because of that.
Me neither.
But far as him, he's got the guy he wants. They had Robert Foster, who like 2 years ago, who was murdering, I think, in one of at the end of the season for one of my playoff teams in fantasy. It's just any speed so they can. Yeah, and DraftKings, picking up a $3,000 wide receiver that I was like, oh, I think he's going to score, and then he drops 100 and some yards and a touchdown.
Right. It was between him or Zay Jones the last few weeks of the season.
Yeah. And personally, I've never been a Zay Jones guy.
No.
But just he's finally got an actual talented guy that's not just a wide receiver 4 who can run a 4-4, 4-3.
Right, that makes sense.
So now he's actually got talent, and I'm interested to see how good he does because that's one of his best things is that he isn't afraid to throw it deep. No, so just because you throw a 40-yard bomb and it's incomplete, you don't lose points.
Right.
So he's going to take tons of those shots this year, and that along with his rushing upside, he gets it.
Yeah, I could see that. To me, it's just their strength schedule is not that great. They play 49ers this year.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is. The start of the season is amazing, but once you go deeper into the season, they have to play NFC West this year. That means they have to play the 49ers. They have to play the Seahawks. They have to play the Rams. They have to play the Patriots twice. To me, that's 5 games. I'm not starting him. I don't know if I would start him in those 5 games. I would word it better that way. But I agree Josh Allen has the ability to open the season great and possibly be a trade beast.
Know your league.
Right, yeah, exactly. Know your league. Stephon Diggs is a good addition. John Brown is still a great receiver. Cole Beasley is still a great receiver. So Josh Allen at 7 sticks for us.
We'll say this going in because, like I said, I like to look at playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Week 14, he's got a home game versus Pittsburgh.
Right.
Pittsburgh's a tough defense.
Right.
Wouldn't start him. I would end up trying to hit the waiver wire, find somebody else.
Right.
Then he goes into Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Not great.
Well,
they
lost Harris.
Well, Denver was the 9th versus quarterbacks last year. Pittsburgh was the 4th, and then we all know New England was the 1st. So if you do make it to the championship game, you can't start him versus New England in New England.
Right.
So, like I said, you're having your quarterback that you can't play in the playoffs, and he's supposed to be a staple of your team.
Right.
So if you get him, run that hot start, get a few wins on your belt, trade him for what you can get him out. Maybe you can package him, get an upgrade.
Now we're at Drew Brees, which is Drew Brees. We don't have to say much on Drew Brees, but I'll let you say whatever you want to say.
He's going to dink and dunk his way to 5,000 yards like he does every year.
Right.
He's going to throw 40 times a game, have a lot of touchdowns to Kamara, a lot of touchdowns to Michael Thomas.
Right.
Emmanuel Sanders is a great addition. Packers were looking at him. I really wanted that extra piece for Rodgers. One reason why I'm not heavy on Rodgers this year, but a lot of the industry isn't. But for as Brees, the system, he's the perfect quarterback in that Sean Payton system, and they're going to be up and they're going to keep pushing. And they really aren't going to rush that many touchdowns. Latavius Murray does get carries per game. And, I mean, he does get all the goal line work. But, I mean, this is Michael Thomas's team.
Yeah.
He is going to do a lot.
Yeah. You're not wrong about the dink and dunk, whether it's a screen out to Kamara or a slant to Michael Thomas. No matter what defenses do, for some reason they can't stop the screen to Kamara and slant to Michael Thomas. That's all
These are elite talents they have.
Yeah.
And with an elite coach.
Yeah.
Who puts them in place.
Right. So, like, no matter what you do, you can't stop those two, especially if they're both fully healthy. And Brees has a fully healthy. Plus, like you said, Emmanuel Sanders. This offense will be great. Drew Brees is actually a quarterback I am personally targeting in drafts. I've noticed you can get him in the 8th or 10th round. To me, my first Brees. We are back to our second mismatch in our rankings. I have Matt Ryan at 10 and Matt Ryan at 9 and Tom Brady at 10, while you have it the other way around. I let you go first with the Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, so I'll take this one first. I have Matt Ryan ahead of Tom Brady because of the familiarity of the offense. He has Julio Jones, he has Calvin Ridley, he has Hayden Hurst, Todd Gurley, Russell Gage, who is even a good quarterback. Not a good quarterback, good wide receiver. I've been doing a lot of research the last few days, mainly on Atlanta, because you were so big on Hayden Hurst and I had him pretty low on my list. So I had to argue my way out of the hole. You will see that whenever we talk about tight ends later. But it's the familiarity. That's basically it. Matt Ryan has his favorite weapon. Julio Jones and Matt Ryan go together like peanut butter and jelly. He has a really good stud with Calvin Ridley, who a lot of people think it could be this year's Chris Godwin. Todd Gurley passes physical. Right. If Todd Gurley is healthy and he's able to come out of the backfield and catch a lot of passes from Matt Ryan, this offense has the ability to be astronomically good. The reason
Right.
To me, Tom Brady at 10, this is another thing that I said can go 9 or 10 either way. Tom Brady has 2 amazing targets with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. He has 3 amazing tight ends with Rob Gronkowski, which is debatable this coming up year. We know he's a monster. We just don't know how it's going to come out this year. O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate. So those 5 targets alone, fantastic for Tom Brady. Perfect for what he does. I just don't know with the coronavirus and COVID-19 if he has enough time to get familiar with these receivers. So, Kirk, take it away. Tell me why you have it the other way around.
Like I said, know your league. Yeah. Everyone knows who Tom Brady is. Right. I've been a huge Matt Ryan person because he's the little guy in the room every year.
Right.
Always getting underdrafted. Always playing a lot of games in domes. Last year playing a ton, playing in like Detroit, playing in the Saints, playing at home, just always in ideal conditions. Where every year go to the snow, go to cold weather. He's just everything's perfect. He's got tons of weapons.
Right.
So I've always been big on Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
He's let me down a little bit here and there. He's definitely not Matty Ice anymore. But with his weapons and the addition of Todd Gurley, they are going to score a lot. Who would think the first thing you would say about Todd Gurley, who was this huge touchdown machine, locked for the several $1 million, huge contract. First thing you would ever say about him is, "Oh, he passes physical."
Right. 2 years ago, I said that. You'd be like, yeah, of course Todd Gurley passes physical. What?
Yeah. But back to the quarterbacks. Personally, if Matt Ryan came out and threw for 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 INTs, people would be like, okay.
Right.
That happens with Tom Brady week 1, and you can literally flip him around for gold. People are like, oh my God, Tom Brady in this Bruce Arians system.
Right.
It's insane. His weapons. Gronk is back.
Right.
They're going to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady. So it's just, like I said, the value that you can flip it for, where Atlanta does it, and I go around and I say, hey, what about Matt Ryan for Russell Wilson? Person's going to look at me stupid.
Right, of course. Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm big on value. I'm big on selling people when they're high. Last year, I had Sammy Watkins in 2 leagues. After week 1, sold him in both.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And so, because you're never going to get that. You always try to peek at the value when you make your trade.
So I like
try to get something there. So, like I said, to me, I have them literally as 9 and 10, same as you. So trying to argue he's going to score 280 points. This one's going to score 285.
Right.
It's just what I could get out of that. The name, Tom Brady's actually going to play in great weather all year.
Yeah.
He's in.
So
it's a different change. But when Father Time does strike Tom Brady, just like it hit Favre, just like it really hit Manning. Went from being MVP with 55 touchdowns to throwing a huge amount of interceptions. And what was the name of the quarterback who replaced him?
Brock Osweiler.
Yes.
Osweiler. Wait, are you talking about that Manning or Daniel Jones replacing Eli?
No.
The wheels fell off quick for both Mannings.
Yeah, definitely. But how it happened with Peyton, now he did have a lot of surgeries, granted. But Father Time, when it's your time, it's your time.
Right.
And it's going to come with Tom Brady. But the years in that system in New England and behind that offensive line with that protection, he was always top 3 in least sacks. He's always conditioned well, kept his body in great shape, watching what he eats. And he's surrounded by weapons in a system that's going to let
Thank you for making it all the way to the end of our first video. Like I said at the start, please subscribe. Please like. Thank you again for giving us a watch.